The nebulous storms rolled across the horizon of the royal capital as Princess Lyra stood on her balcony, her hands clasped behind her back in a posture of calm that she did not feel at all. The sky shimmered with pale violet sparks drifting across the upper layers of the atmosphere, reminders of the last battles that had scarred her world. Even after peace had been declared, the air still held the scent of burnt ion fields. Lyra breathed in and wished that she could forget the years of conflict that had hardened her family and divided her world, but peace never came clean or simple in the aftermath of a war that had spanned 6 systems and taken so many lives. It came with questions, it came with doubts, and it came with stories that did not always make sense. One story, in particular, would not leave Lyra alone. It was the story of the human soldier who had ended the war almost single-handedly. Different versions had been told. Some called him a fearless warrior. Some called him the one who convinced enemy commanders to stand down. Others whispered darker tales. But all stories agreed on one point. No one truly knew his identity. Lyra did not like mysteries. She had grown up in a court full of secrets, and she had learned early to break through the illusions around her to find the truth underneath. Still, this mystery was different. Every time she tried to gather reports, she reached the same wall. The human soldier refused all publicity. The human soldier refused all recognition. The human soldier refused even a name on record. He had brought peace, then vanished somewhere inside the Allied fleet. Matter might have ended there, if not for one small detail that reached her ears. 2 cycles ago, a visiting diplomat told her that the soldier had spoken once. To a medic, the soldier had mentioned that he came from a quiet settlement colony in the outer belt. A colony Lyra knew well was the colony where she had once lived in hiding as a child during the early phases of the war. She remembered the dusty fields, the quiet nights, the low hum of old power generators. She remembered the peace she had found there in contrast to the chaos of her own home world. And she remembered the companion who had become her closest friend, a boy named Dane. He had been clever, patient, steady, and protective in a way that made her younger self feel safe. He had taught her how to fix broken drones. He had shown her how to read human equipment markers. He had spoken rarely about himself, but always listened to her. One night, he had left the colony after an attack. She had never seen him again. Lyra stepped away from the balcony and approached her desk where her advisor had placed a sealed report. Her curiosity had grown too strong. She opened the report and searched for clues regarding the mysterious human soldier. Most of the details were blacked out, but one line remained untouched. The soldier had been assigned to a specific landing vessel during the final battle, and that vessel had returned to the capital 3 days ago. That was enough. Lyra left her chambers at once. Her guards followed, but she waved them back. She wanted to face what she expected to find without a parade behind her. Landing Bay stretched across a vast plateau outside the capital, filled with rows of ships repaired after the war. Mechanics moved between them with scanners and tools. Lyra approached the entry office, where a young officer bowed quickly. She asked him for the roster of the returning vessel. He hesitated and explained that the humans had requested privacy, but she reminded him of her authority. He surrendered the list. Her eyes scanned the names. Some were unfamiliar, some repeated across units, but one line stood out. A simple name, Dane Shock, ran through her chest. She controlled her breathing. She asked the officer where the listed soldier was now. The officer motioned toward a temporary barracks on the far side of the bay and told her the humans kept a minimal presence there while debriefing. Lyra crossed the long walkway toward the barracks. Her steps slowed. For the first time in many cycles, she felt uncertain. If it was him, why had he not come to see her? If it was not him, why did this name appear now? When she reached the barracks, she found a human sentry standing at the entrance. He saluted her respectfully. She stated her purpose, and the sentry allowed her to enter inside. The main hall, she saw humans seated at tables. Speaking in calm, low tones, they all looked tired but relieved. Lyra scanned the room and did not see the man she sought. She approached one of the officers and asked where Dane was. The officer pointed toward a door at the far end, leading to a small equipment room. Lyra stepped toward the door. Her heart beat faster. She paused, then pushed the door open. A lone figure stood inside, adjusting the straps of a field pack. His back was turned to her. His hair was darker than she remembered. His posture was stronger, but something in the way he moved made her freeze. She said his name quietly. Dane. The figure stiffened slowly. He turned. His face was older and marked with lines of strain, but it was him. He stared at her with wide shock. Then he bowed his head in a slow, humble gesture of respect that she had never seen him use before. Lyra could barely breathe. She took a step closer and asked why he had never come to see her. After the war had ended, Dane explained in a calm voice that he had not wished to bring attention to himself. He had been assigned to dangerous missions. He had done what he could to end the conflict. He did not want praise. He believed she had become a leader far above anything he could stand beside. Lyra rejected that explanation at once. She reminded him of the promise he made as a youth to never leave her without a word. She told him she had searched for him years ago. She told him she had thought he might have died during the early battles. Dane looked away as if her words struck him deeper than he expected. He admitted he had left the colony to join the human forces because he could not stand the idea of her world collapsing. He had seen the growing threats firsthand. He had realized that a major strike was coming. He had believed that joining the human corps was the only way to protect the people he cared about. Lyra realized she had never understood the full weight he carried. He had been quiet as a youth, but always observant. He must have held on to fears he never spoke about, and he had acted on them. He had become the soldier who ended the war. Her old companion had changed the galaxy. She asked him why he hid his identity. When commanders tried to honor him, he answered simply that peace mattered more than recognition. His work was done. He wanted nothing from it. Lyra felt a deep mix of frustration and admiration. She told him he had every right to stand in the light of what he had done, but he shook his head. He said he was only a soldier. He said he only did what he believed was necessary. Lyra stepped closer. Her voice softened. She told him she had never forgotten him. She told him that during her darkest days she had wanted to speak to him again. She told him she had hoped he had survived. Dane remained still. His expression held a quiet sorrow. He admitted he had thought of her as well, but every time he considered reaching out, another battle began, another mission, another risk. He feared that contacting her would draw danger toward her, so he stayed silent. Lyra felt her anger fade as she listened. He had not abandoned her. He had protected her in his own distant way. Her chest tightened with emotion she had long buried. She asked him what he would do now. He answered that he planned to return to a quiet life. He said he wished to rebuild the settlement where they once lived. He said he wanted to fix generators and repair drones again. A simple life, a peaceful one. Lyra felt a tug in her heart. She told him that she did not want him to vanish again. She asked if he would remain in the capital for a while. She said she wanted to speak to him more, learn what he had been through, understand the battles he had fought. She said she did not want to lose him again. Dane hesitated. He said he did not belong in royal halls. He said he was not a court figure. He said he feared he would cause trouble. Lyra stepped close enough that she could see every change in his expression. She told him she would decide who belonged near her. She told him that he had shaped her life more than he knew. She told him that peace was not real if those who fought hardest for it were left alone afterward. Dane lowered his gaze. He whispered that he had missed her. The words were soft and honest. Lyra felt warmth spread through her chest. She placed a hand on his arm and told him he did not have to hide anymore. He looked at her hand, then at her face. Slowly, A faint smile formed. He nodded. She felt a surge of relief. She told him that the truth she uncovered today was one she would never forget. That the soldier who ended the war was not a hero carved from legend, but the same boy who once helped her fix broken machinery in a dusty shed, the same boy who stood beside her under the dim colony lights, the same boy who had kept his promise in a way she had never understood. They left the equipment room together. Outside, the sky brightened as the nebulous storms faded. A calm breeze swept across the landing bay for the first time in many cycles. Lyra felt hope rise inside her, not the fragile hope born from treaties and negotiations, but the steady hope born from rediscovered trust. Dane walked beside her quietly. No medals, no applause, only presence, only truth. Only a bond rediscovered after years of silence and struggle. As they moved toward the royal transport, Lyra thought of the long days ahead. She knew there would be political challenges. She knew the court would question his presence. She knew that rumors and whispers would spread. But none of that mattered. She had found him again, and he had chosen. To stay their world was healing. So were they. And the path ahead, though uncertain, felt stronger, because they would walk it tog